Hey everyone, it's Jennine, your local realtor here in the Edmonton area. Today I'm going to go over what happened in the month of March for the Edmonton real estate market. So before we begin, I just want to remind you that this report is on the city itself. There's a lot of little cities around like Sherwood Park, St. Albert, Spruce Grove, Nisku, Beaumont, all those places. They're not included in this, but we do still work there. So if you have any questions about those areas, please feel free to reach out. Let's get started. All right, first we're going to look at detached single-family homes. So quite a few sold this past month, almost, 34% sold, 66 still active. And looking at the new listings versus sold, so we're pretty much on normal trend, as in we are increasing our listings going into spring and increasing the sales going into spring as well. Taking a look at 2024, same kind of trend here. You can see it's starting to increase for the spring. So we're just shy of 1,500 new listings and under 1,000 sold. When you look at 2024, fairly similar. So little less listings, a little bit more sold. And even though a little bit more sold in 2024, that doesn't mean anything negative for this year, because this is what is happening here. So our month-to-month price is continuing to go up, same year to year. So we're up about 5.4% from last month and just over almost 14% year to year. So prices keep going up, going into spring market, and it usually always keeps increasing. Now, right now is a very interesting time because there is just so much going on in the world. With tariffs, for example, we have our election coming up. There's just so much uncertainty. And if you're seeing the headlines, a lot of it's probably talking about how real estate is stagnant and not doing well, maybe in some cities, but not here. Edmonton is in a unique position where we are still one of the most affordable places in Canada. So we're getting a lot of people still moving here. We're getting a lot of investors, and it's really increasing our price. We don't have enough inventory for all of the demand here. So looking at prices in relation to previous years, we are well above previous years. As you can see, we are the top red line here, and we're starting that spring increase right now too. So what price ranges are selling? Again, if you've been following along for a while, the most popular range is between 3 to 500, and especially that 400 to 500 mark is outpacing the new listings. So there's more sales than what there is active. It used to be anything over 500 would kind of slow down. And yes, it is slowing down a bit, but there are still a lot of sales in that range. And you can tell that with the months of inventory too. So 4 months worth of inventory is considered a balanced market. Anything under 4 months is considered a seller's market, and anything over 4 months of inventory is considered a buyer's market. So looking at this, those popular ranges 3 to 500, we have a very low amount of inventory, less than a month for 400 to 500. Even the higher price points, we're starting to see lose the amount of inventory. So we're less than 4 months of inventory for some of these higher ones, 500, 600, 700. So there is a lot of demand and just not a lot of inventory. Same old story if you've been following along. And I don't think it's going to change. I know with all this uncertainty, it does create another kind of issue where there's a lot of people that just don't want to sell, and we have a lot of buyers. So that doesn't help with our inventory levels, which increases the price still. Days on market, we're seeing really quick turnaround. So especially 3 to 500, again, under 20 days on market. As we get higher price points, the days start to drag out a little bit, but it's still fairly quick, probably around the 30 days on market right now. And how many are selling at the list price or over list price? So that range between 3 to 500 is over 50% of them are selling at list price or over asking price. As it gets a little higher, that starts to dip off a bit, but it's still fairly high. Between 30 to 50% of them are selling at or over list price. All right, looking at duplexes and townhomes. Remember, there's a mix of properties in here. So duplexes and townhomes can be a part of a condo board or not a part of a condo board. So we have a mix. Generally speaking, usually the condo ones are a little bit cheaper. All right, lots of sales here. Again, almost 42% sold. Looking at the new listings versus sold, we did get a lot more listings this month, but more sales too. So very on trend, very expected of what we normally would see. Looking at 2024, same thing, more listings, more sales as we get into spring market. So we are still seeing prices increase for duplexes and townhome, almost 2% from month to month and 7.9% year to year, and a very quick turnaround. Again, average days on market is 23 days on market. So looking at the prices compared to previous years, we are well above the previous years, and I do believe that trend will continue. So what price range is selling? Same kind of thing. There are a little bit lower price points with the townhomes and duplexes. The 200 to 300 is popular, but that 300 to 500 range is also popular. With the 300 to 400, it is almost matching sales versus active listings, and same with 200 to 300. And again, same kind of story, not much inventory. So we are well below the 4-month mark where it would be a balanced market. So we are still very much looking at a seller's market. Almost everything is less than 2 months of inventory, some even more like 1 month of inventory. And these properties are going quick. So on average, again, around the 20-day mark. As we increase in price, it stretches out a little bit. And also we're seeing a lot selling at or over list price. So 40 to 50% on most of price range. All right, looking at apartment style condos. A little less sales here. This is pretty average for apartment style condos. 25.8% sold. We did see a jump in listings this month. Pretty much on trend looking compared to last year. Again, a lot of listings around this time of year. Condo market has been doing much better than it has been for the last few years. We're up 1.2% month to month, 12.8% year to year. So looking at that price in comparison to previous years, we are well above the previous years. And for what is selling, what range, we are looking at most popular up to 200,000, and then it kind of dips off after 2 to 300. So we have a little bit more inventory when it comes to apartment style condos. That popular range up to 300,000 is starting to drop in inventory. So we are just over 2 months of inventory, and the higher price points you will see more as a buyer's market with quite a bit of inventory. These are taking a little bit longer than the other types of properties, but still fairly quick at around 40 days on market, and not as many selling at or over list price. I would say this is a more normal amount selling at or over list price. So that is all. I know that it's a lot of info all really quick, so if you have questions, feel free to reach out. There's a link below that you could schedule a time to chat or send me a text message, email, whatever way works. I'm always happy to help. Till next time, see you.